If you're anything like us, you probably didn't initially realise that the Bible was not originally written in English. The Old Testament in its original form was written mainly in Hebrew, with some parts in Aramaic.
And in this video, we won't be teaching you Hebrew or Aramaic, you'll be glad to hear. There are folks far better qualified than us to do that. But what we shall be doing is explaining what we call word study. This is how to go back to the original language of the Old Testament, look up a word to fine-tune our interpretation of what God is saying.
So stay tuned and we'll dive in. Hi, I'm Molly and this is Nigel from Precept UK. In previous videos we've explained the foundational skills of observation, including asking questions of the text, marking words and listing. We've also discussed the importance of context when interpreting the Bible and also how to apply what we are learning to our lives. If you haven't seen these videos, click on the link. As in those videos, we're going to be using the same text of Exodus 17, 1-3 and build on what we've learnt so far.
So today we're going to be focusing on the value of looking up an English word from the Old Testament in its original language, and we call this word study. The main benefits of doing a word study are to, first of all, get a full meaning of the word, and secondly, to enhance our understanding of the passage by being able to take that definition and the use of the word in other scriptures back into the text.
So by knowing we're interpreting the English word correctly in that context, we can confidently know God more deeply and live differently, the goal of all Bible study. So where do we start? There are many different study tools, but one of the simplest and easiest is an online tool called blueletterbible.org.
So let's go back to our passage, Exodus 17, verse 1 in this particular case. Then all the congregation of the sons of Israel journeyed by stages from the wilderness of Sin, according to the command of the Lord, and camped at Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink.
So what does the word sin mean? The word is capitalized and the people journeyed from it, so it looks like the name of a place. But was the wilderness called Sin because the people were disobedient and were sinning, as some people have suggested to me, or does it mean something else?
The meaning of the English word sin certainly makes it sound as though that is right, but let's check out what the Hebrew word is and what it means.
So by using Blue Letter Bible or another word study tool, we can look up Exodus chapter 17 verse 1, and in the New American Standard Version we could discover that the Hebrew meaning of sin is thorn or clay, and not an immoral act considered to be a transgression against divine law. In other words, the wilderness was not named sin because the people were sinning against God.
Sin is further defined by two possible meanings. It's either referring to, firstly, a town in eastern Egypt, or secondly, the tract of wilderness between Elim and Sinai. By taking these two definitions back to the text, we can identify which one is correct.
Now, by backing up a little bit to Exodus chapter 16 verse 1, we discover that the congregation of the sons of Israel set out from Elim and came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. Now this fits with one of those two definitions. We've therefore discovered the fuller meaning of the word sin and enhanced our understanding of this passage, ensuring we've correctly interpreted the word.
If you use an accurate translation of the Bible, such as the New American Standard or English Standard Version, you can be confident that the word you're reading in English is pretty accurate in meaning. But occasionally, as we've just seen, going back to the original Hebrew language adds to and enhances our understanding.
Additionally, the New Testament was originally written in Koine Greek, and by carefully looking at the verbs, an even greater understanding is gained, which is key to correct interpretation and application.
So, if you'd like a more detailed practical study guide to Precept's inductive Bible study method, our recommended resource is Lord, Teach Me to Study the Bible in 28 Days. And that's available from our website at precept.org.uk/shop.
So if this has helped you out, it would help us out greatly if you could like this video and subscribe if you want to find new and engaging ways to study your Bible. So until next time, let's seek to know God deeply and live differently.